We're going to start right now. All right, so we are super pleased to be inviting in Robin Kang, who is one of my favorite artists. And Robin, I want to throw it to you to introduce this individual sitting to your left, if you feel compelled to do so, and then maybe even she can do so herself, perhaps in her language or sort of languages. But let me just do Robin Kang and just give a little context, and then you could throw it to your companion there. So Robin Kang is an amazing artist, works with fiber, which is a term we hear a lot in the contemporary art space, and also has this other amazing life and skill set practice working with various Central, South American, Native American, even sort of global cultures, often indigenous, holding on to very specific cultural traditions. So go check out Robin Kang's contemporary art work, has shown with many different institutions, private galleries, the list goes on. It's an incredible CV. But I'm equally, if not more, interested in how Robin has done tremendous work to work with, ingratiate herself, learn the customs of various cultures from around the Americas and around the world. And this requires such a deft touch, incredible sensitivity, impressive strength. I could go on and on. So please check out Robin Kang. Now, Robin, I'm going to throw it to you to introduce who else we have with us here today.
I really appreciate those kind words. It's actually my extreme honor to introduce you all to Nilda Callañaupa, who is, I feel like anything that you just read about or spoke about me, I feel like Nilda's list goes on and on for so many incredible achievements. She is a weaver and a textile artist. And not only that, she's written many books on the textile traditions of the Quechua people, and also many different aspects. I'll let her share more about some of that, but she's also the founder of the traditional textiles of Cusco. And I want to let her share a little bit more about what this amazing nonprofit is and how they are working with Quechua textile artisans from all over the Cusco region, from many different villages, many different techniques, and they have really worked tirelessly for a number of years to bring back ancient traditions that were almost lost, including natural dyes and spinning and braiding and backstrap loom weaving, and also the many aspects of the tradition that are not seen, that are involving the blessing of the alpacas and the caring for the sheep and the offerings to the Apu mountain spirits and to the wonderful lakes and the beautiful landscape that is here in the Sacred Valley of Peru that is absolutely breathtakingly spectacular. So I'll just leave it at that, and I'll let Nilda share more about what you've done with this and what you're currently a part of and what we're here to share more about.
Muchas gracias, Robin. Munay puncha olipikiswan, ancha creación roimantan, no dimayamos aikin sa palabra. Entonces, I'm Nilda Callañaupa Alvarez, one of the founders of the Center for Traditional Textiles of Cusco. I was born and raised with a farming family, weavers family in Chinchero, which is part of the Sacred Valley of the Incas where we are now. Well, our mission is to keep alive this textile tradition by practicing. So we work in 10 communities with over 300 adult weavers and more than 200 children that who are learning this textile tradition in each community. So our mission is hoping to pass for the future. This is a textile tradition that was getting lost, and we were able to revive thanks to these master weavers who still have capacity and dream and patience to do this. This is a cultural project protecting many of our Andean knowledge and the Inca knowledge, like the language, keeping language and keeping people in our community, women in the communities, today well-educated women, some of them become to be, and also they're amazing, wonderful weavers. So the achievement that we have done in 30 years with the weavers, it has been a tremendous amount of work by the part and also for that. Not just that, Ruben and other supporters like you are joining to this project. This is a global project, I will say, that many people who believes in these traditions, maybe people who believes in our culture to keep alive this, is joining to this. So I'm so happy to hear about Ashley, about you, willing to join to this tremendous ship so we can paddle together and keep the life of the future weavers, in our culture. Whatever you do, little steps helps tremendously to the weavers and keeps alive. This is part of our textile patrimony of Peru. We are layers of many civilizations, many cultures before the Incas even achieved such techniques for everyday use, special use, and even textiles after life. And that's what we are researching, studying, bringing back with these master weavers. Like this year, we are having a contest of those pre-Columbian techniques, and they're working so hard. It's just a blessing. It's really taking a big breath and happening, to see what's happening with the master weavers here. And weavers is not just weaver; it's a culture. It's our, all what surrounded us in the nature, natural dyes, natural fibers, animals, our Mother Earth. We are very much connected. So it's a holding a culture alive in our places and giving us an opportunity to be here and create and promote our tradition of our textile and the culture. Thank you very much for having us today in this opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you for speaking English with me in particular. That was beautiful, not just how it was articulated, but the content as well. And, Robin, being that the culture is so rich and everything comprised of the culture, there's so many angles into this. But just to maybe ground things a little, I believe I actually got to meet Nilda when there was a talk at NYU or at an NYU gallery or a gallery adjacent. Is this correct, Robin? Did we actually get to meet briefly in person where I actually got to feel some of the textiles, got to see a bit of a documentary with some of the men and women who were part of the community? So we got to meet in person is all I'm saying, and that was fantastic. I think a good thing to do is maybe just to ask Nilda her earliest memory of weaving and everything connected to it. What was like your earliest sense memory? Because there's so many things involved, right? There's the texture, the smells, the visual, the spiritual, the sounds. There's so many things. So Nilda, what was like your earliest memory with this particular practice or something connected to the practice?
Well, my earliest memory, it's a wonderful actually. Okay. I come from a farmer's family. I grew up behind of the sheep. We have a huge amount of the sheep and the mountains around us. So my days after school or before school, because I started school at 8 years old. So until then I was in the fields with the sheep. That's all the wonderful things came out to my eye and to my mind. How those wonderful shepherds spin like cloud in the spindle and they come out of this wonderful yarn. And my mom, singing with a baby in the back with my younger sisters. She used to go, with me, and she will spin. We used to share the wool and smell of that. It was wonderful. I remember the many memories, good memories of our ship, and that spirit of our sacred mountains, I think, just sucked me.
Mm-hmm.
And the flavor of the earth after rain, and behind of the ships flying like any another kid. Maybe that was my inspiration. It's unbelievable moments that sometimes hard to explain by words. The feeling, it's amazing.
Yeah, so many senses, but I loved the visual and the metaphor of the sheep's wool getting spun, unfurling into these clouds. Robin, I'm going to put you or an artist friend on that, or I'd love to see that sort of visualized in a painting, or maybe a sort of tapestry or something. But no pressure. The smells, the sounds, the visuals. Nilda, how soon did you start to understand? Maybe you were feeling it deeply or intuitively, but when did the importance of all the cultural components and taking care of those elements, being a good steward of those elements, when was that formally imparted to you? When did it hit you that it had these deeper implications, and also how important it was to preserve this knowledge in yourself, even maybe as a young person?
Yes, I think so. There is few stages in that. Behind of the inspiration of the spinning and processing the wool into the thread starts with my mom and the elders who were shepherds. My first remains comes from the sheep, with the sheep in the mountains, and elders who were shepherds, and my mom with the baby, with my sisters, taking care of the sheep. But it was not just taking care, it was more socializing with them. They're spinning to me. It's just right now in my eyes, in my head, that like I compare like with the clouds, and like from the clouds coming thread. Actually, it was wool into a thread. And then, I got engaged with that, and I like to do that like them. And then came, the idea, this thread now has to go into the textiles. So narrow bands of watanas, hakimas, belts, bags, and like that, I started doing. But when I realized was like when I was 15, 14 years old, when I say, oh my gosh, I love to weave. Even my father was encouraging me to study. I used to hide in my bedroom and weave there. And the only person I could show that with a proud was my mother, because my father said, you have to study, you have to go study. So like that. And my mom said, it's okay that you study. After that, I went into the university in Cusco, and, I meet many people from the forum, like North America, scholars who came. One of my friends, Frank, who really got into my little community and to study textiles, encouraged me so much and told me that how important it was my process of learning and getting involved in this textile world. Inspired me a lot, pushed me to think more. And later on, I started, thinking with another friends in my area and from the foreign countries also. What's the next step? The next step should be this knowledge that's disappearing, special for my age people. So it should be passed to the another group. So I started working in my community in Chinchero with the elders who knew how to do weaving already. I visited, I talked, I invite to come to my house, asking them to weave. So the first money I made, even I used to buy their textiles, like belts, to encourage them to continue weaving. So I think so the project started there somewhere. And until 1996, we finally founded the Center for Traditional Textiles of Cusco. So since then, this year is our 30th anniversary of the Center for textiles of Cusco. So all these things came out little by little with the support of many people.
No doubt. Well, Nilda, Robin wasn't lying when she said you were losing sun. I don't think I've ever seen it get dark that fast anywhere. It went from being a vibrant pastel to like a really deep Rembrandt.
I don't know if you can see Sacred Mountains back here, Kurt. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous.
We have a little enchanted garden here.
Oh, wow.
And then our little casita.
Robin, when I was down in Peru, sometimes the electricity would turn off in the whole compound at a specific time each night. Does something like that happen down there or not really?
Yeah. Hasn't happened yet in this trip.
Okay. Right, good to know.
For us.
All right.
We could sit maybe.
All right. Welcome back.
Okay.
Hello again.
All right.
I can actually see you two now. Well, that was remarkable how it went from being completely visible in all capacities to being pitch black within maybe like 5 minutes or something. Nilda was just saying how this year is the 30-year anniversary of this institution, this organization. And that's just incredible. And yes, we're doing a fun little campaign with sort of deep cultural and traditional roots on Good Standing, where we're offering up some of these bands, which could be a hat band, it could be a belt, it could be many things. Some have pom-poms, some do not. Here are some of them. Robin, do you want to maybe bring a couple just up a little close to get a glimpse, or maybe you can... Oh, I love the pom-poms.
Okay, can you see?
Unbelievable.
Here's one. A wide range of colors, and these are all made with natural dyes.
I love
Nothing synthetic,
Yeah.
either wool or alpaca, and all hand spun yarn, and then hand dyed with natural. These are like little pouches that
I
show some of the.
Love the pouches. I like that. This podcast is international. We push it to the limit. All right. So we were just seeing a couple samples, but Robin, I know, it's probably getting a little late there. We're pushing the boundaries of technology, but I know that the patterns have often a deep significance. And again, at the comfortability level of you and Nilda, maybe you can tell me about the patterns themselves.
Yes, it's very broad, wide, but I am going to summarize.
Yes.
Our patterns represent what surround us, our sacred mountains, water in many dimensions like lakes, rivers, in many ways, and the constellations that we have during this time is amazing scale. With the many, many constellations. We have the shapes of the farm, flora, fauna is represented in our designs. And each pattern has name, requests exact amount of threads, and that's what we represent in our patterns. It's very also determines the origin of a people of different regions, because from one region to the another region varies our pattern. And there is a process of learning from the very basic to the most complex patterns. And there are families of certain techniques that are. Our patterns also is very much connected with the rituals, like fiestas, weddings, important moments in our life. So yes, it's very important to keep alive these patterns. Besides, and the pre-Columbian textiles also has many important things. We represent in our patterns like this world, the underworld, and upper world, like that type of things.
Yes. Nilda, and maybe Robin, you can touch on this too. I'm interested in how you were learning or ingratiating or just maybe watching to some degree, perhaps. Or, Robin, you're an incredible weaver yourself, if I may say. But maybe I'm just curious, what's the first step? What's the earliest thing someone might learn, that first pattern, that first skill?
Okay, this is the narrow band here. You can see blue and green in the middle of this belt.
Yeah.
That's our first sign that when you weave this design for the first time, that your mother or someone will take into the sacred river to throw, so you can continue weaving forever.
Oh, nice.
So that narrow band is always will be with that narrow design will be done as a first. And when you catch up this design quick, means that you are going to be a good weaver too. So each community, each area, they have those kind of patterns. I don't know for Ruben, how was?
Well, so the first time I met Nilda, I attended an amazing conference that she helped put on called Tinkoi. And it was a global conference for traditional textiles. And in the conference, there was some workshops, and I took the beginning backstrap loom workshop. Which was to learn to weave with a very small loom, this exact thing, this small strip. And let me tell you, the first time, even from an experienced weaver, it was not easy. And there was a lot of mistakes and learning how to do things with several sticks and maybe like a llama bone as like your pick. Yeah, it was very humbling and also inspiring because it really showed me how the true craftsmanship of some of these pieces and how difficult it is to do really fine, detailed work. And even just a simple pattern, you have to really count the threads carefully. And then that's just one little pattern. So then you expand that to some of the designs that are more complex, like here you can see. Wow. This is so a more experienced weaver is going to have to do something like that, and that takes many hours of practice and many years. And so it really gave me an appreciation for when I see these textiles and I know the work that goes into it. And not only that, the work that went into spinning the cloth or spinning the yarns and then dyeing them these incredible colors. So all of that happened long before you even start the weaving. Yeah. So it's really an incredible process that is connected to the earth and the animals and to nature, and many of the weavings can be done outside while you're sitting in the mountains and these breathtaking views or by the lakes. And so there is really a special energy imbued in all of it too that is something rare that we don't see with a lot of modern machine-made textiles. Just don't have the aura that is so connected to the earth, connected to history, connected to tradition, and then has so much love made into the entire process.
Yeah, and is it sort of the red? Is it like cochinilla? Is it indigo for blues? Or maybe just give quickly, Robin and Nilda, maybe talk a little bit about the dyes. What is maybe something people might be more familiar with globally, and then maybe things that are super specific. Maybe there's very specific colors coming out of the community that are difficult to find somewhere else, just based on the sort of regional sources, perhaps. So just tell me a little bit about the dyes.
Well, natural dyes we have been reintroducing, and since 1998 only we learned. Because we come from a culture that was disappearing many things. So chemical dyes have been introduced for many hundred years, and natural dye disappeared. This is a complete revival project. We use cochineal for the reds, pinks, purples, orange, etc. We use fungus for the turquoise green. For the greens, we have a high altitude bushes that we will use yellow flowers, black walnut dye, and vines that comes in the colors indigo blue that also we for us, it's so important to use the natural dye, even though it's disappearing. Sunday, day after tomorrow, I wish somehow we can connect because we will be dyeing in a natural side, the dyes. So this is the result of the
In her hometown in
Chinchero.
Chinchero. So very special.
So natural colors. Why natural? Because totally color fast, but also connects us with the Mother Earth, with the plants and everything. And also there is a respect to our environment. It's not chemical that you are touching, you are wearing in your body. It's the natural sources that we have in the world, everywhere. But today, with this global world, machine-made things, this is handmade piece, unique pieces.
Yes. Yes. Now, Robin, first of all, the two of you look so stylish, but also really comfortable. I'm a little jealous. It just looks very cozy, if I dare say. Nilda, you mentioned constellations, and we don't see the sky the way you are both seeing the sky right now down there, like we do in New York City. In New York City, it's it's light pollution and all this other actual pollution, all this kind of stuff, right? So the night sky down there is a whole different ball game, as we say in the United States. But I was curious. So there's a lot of global or universal names for constellations. Certainly in English, we might say it's Orion's Belt or the Big Dipper or Perseus or something. But I'm wondering if your community, your culture, has names that are specific to your community and culture for certain constellations.
Yes, of course we do have. And since our case, especially during this time, it's so clear. Also, farming and calculation of the farming was done watching the moon, the position of the moon. It's very important. The stars, some of the stars like Collioure, the earliest star that comes once the sunset. Oh, you can see that. It's very important. And they can even what time it is, midnight, or when you wake up, you don't have watch. You come out and you say, where is it? It's about, the daylight coming out and like that. Also, we do have the dipper, and we do have llama, which is like dipper, the black spot. And we have to be sure that we look at Southern Cross position is really important for us. Southern Cross in our textiles represents a very big meaning. We do have many things, and in the clouds and like that, we have those kind of things. Milky Way is very important because we watch the Milky Way before we put the potatoes to the grass to dehydrate to keep for the future. We do in the communities. It's totally a history of that you can go, write pages and pages of the books, and they have that.
I bet. So let's talk a little bit about the organization and how do you sort of define Young Weavers?
We are a nonprofit cultural organization based in Peru. But at this moment, our center in Cusco, which has a museum, is facing a big challenge. It was a family home, and we converted it into the museum and exhibition rooms and administration center. I guess it was not built for that reason, so it's going in really bad shape. And we are planning to rebuild, but we are located in a very important spot where the most important religious site was in the Inca time. So it's very political site and very expensive part because we are in the historical part of Cusco. So we are going to do fundraising, and we are going to establish probably a nonprofit organization in order to get funding in the US, in the United States. So we're in that process. That's the most challenging thing in my life coming out, and probably is going to be part of our legacy, is in danger, and the future of the weavers benefit will get from this rebuild. So we are challenging into this. We call center, cultural center, art center, Center for Traditional Textiles of Cusco. children comes after school to the centers established in each community to learn to weave. They have their coordinator nominated from the adult weavers or ex-children group. Now today they have family. These centers, since many years ago and right now, is the most important part of our project. We have to pass this knowledge to the children, hoping that they will keep practicing, they will keep alive. So we do many programs. Like this year, we are going to send to Machu Picchu to all the children. We are every year, end of the year, like December, we do chocolatadas with the Christmas, and we give records. We take to the museums, we take to the archaeological sites. We have many, many activities just beside the weaving to encourage them. How important is this textile tradition, which is part of our culture? So we hold in the centers, we have children and youth group, and they learn there to weave. And we promote their textiles, those narrow bands like Rubens belt. We have 250 children, so imagine that they do for a month, just few of them. To encourage them, we have to promote those textiles.
And also, when they sell, they get some of the money.
Yes.
And so that helps them be encouraged to continue their craft and to realize that they could support themselves when they perfect this craft. And that also, I feel like, is a really important aspect of the project.
Yes, it's a project after school, so we don't interrupt with the formal education too. And we hope that many children becomes to be professional, and we have professional weavers in the part of the administration in the Cusco city too, and the communities also, because the community is not just weavers, they are also a lot of leadership. So in the children also, we're implementing leadership to them to understand how they can keep themselves as a group and how they can maintain this alive and how they can manage their income and support their studies and like that. So it's a whole project.
Yes, and congratulations on everything you've done over the last 30 years. And good luck and an early congratulations in everything you have in front of you. It sounds like a big project with deep spiritual and historical significance. I'm sure there's a lot of local politics and economics that probably cut across the entire country. So I don't know, but I can kind of get an idea of what a lift that's going to be. Also, Ashley got me a band today on our activation on Good Standing. I think I'm going to put it on my hat. I have a beautiful black hat. I think I'm going to put it on there. And I really hope that our activation, this one, sells out, and then perhaps we can kind of keep going or sort of grow that to make sure that resources, at least from our end, continue to funnel in. But Nilda, I have a question. You mentioned how you took to weaving when you were somewhat young and still went to school. You're a very educated woman, and you never let go of your love of weaving and the responsibility that comes with it. But like a lot of cultures around the world, they're coming up against an increasingly modern and technological world.
Well, I come from a very, very, very old community, and for me, everything is new with this technological world and the global world. In this last decade, I'm having, for example, young board members, very smart, and who are very technology-oriented people. And, with this global world, you need that. I realized that I'm not the expert in that, but someone comes expert in that. A few days ago, we have a young man who was working with one of my board members, dreaming that we will get Edu, as for our organization. But then even better, he applied for the Google for as a nonprofit, and we got org, ORG, organization.
Yeah.
So we just recognized. With that, we got many benefits.
Wow.
I can't believe what's that, but it was so exciting for them.
Yeah.
So I have that.
I see.
And not just that, that's as an example,
Mhm.
but also the another example is COVID. COVID hit it as so badly.
COVID, yes.
And COVID brought cell phones because the education was remote in the communities. And you won't believe how much they have to walk in the mountains to get the line for
to get
the
service, to get bars, as the kids say. Yeah.
Started giving cell phones to them. Since then, even little kids and grow up who are in their upper studies, they are very much into the technology today. So even they have their own groups and like that. So yes, we do have from the children group who know they were master weavers today. They're professionals like police, administrators, tour guides, people who are going out. Many young women, also well-educated women, open their center, weaving centers as a part of their business, and they are administrating that. And many of them, they say, yes, I'm weaver, but I understand this world and I can match into the technology in different ways. So they're getting different jobs. But the thing is that we are not trying to keep in their communities without education, or it's not prohibited to have this. Even the younger, my board members, they gave something in the Christmas because that's what they like, children. Mm-hmm. So they would say, and our mission is to form them in the textile besides and then formal education, and who knows how they are going to be using in the future. Most of our administrative team today is also ex-children weavers, and who knows the weaving. And it's so simple to talk with them, like about pricing, about the quality, how is going our, inventory, what things we can do. Even some of them, they are going into designing worlds like product designing and like that. So this is like interweave between global world, the technological world, the weaving. So that's what's today. They're wearing blue jeans into the city, shirts, and when they go to the communities, also they're wearing very proud with their traditional clothing. So I can't push in one way or another way. I understand that the culture is constant transition. So if you keep the important cultural values that can go, I guess, fitted with the another values, what the global world is offering to the young people today.
What a beautiful answer, Nilda. Thank you so much. Well, I'm not going to keep you too much longer. This has been so wonderful. But I want to ask one question that, Nilda, is just like a little tricky, but it's a question that comes up when folks from, the Western world or America engage with indigenous cultures. It's all about how folks engage. I know from knowing Robin for many years, knowing about her history and how she's engaged with so many different cultures and people from all these different regions, the work she's had to do to gain the trust and to learn all these different skills, songs, the list goes on, other modalities, which maybe we can talk about another day. How do you navigate conversations about cultural appropriation, as it's often called, and how Robin has navigated that, transcended that? It's tough. We ask tough questions on this show.
Well, it's very tricky. It's really. I don't know if I am going to give you an appropriate answer, but yes, cultural appropriation sometimes can happen without realizing, without being aware, without being respectful. But some people, I think so, they are aware and they are upset and they have such more respect. in our world, in this cultural part of this part of the world. Yes, there is so much of that. Today, the industrial world is doing that. Such cheap textiles that you can find in the markets for almost nothing. I don't know who is making, what material they are using. Whoever is making, first, they must be making almost nothing.
Yeah.
And for example, this year, it's a lot of our alpaca fiber triplicated in price, or 30 more times maybe.
Wow.
Why? Because outside countries are taking the fiber with much more higher price, so our price for material goes up. The another examples will be our visitors to this part of the world. They don't know which one, not all of them, but some of them, which one's real textile, which one's not real textile, and like that. We have many problems with that, especially we have a lot of problems. We cannot compete with those cheap, really cheap textile. And for our culture, it's very sad. Weavers, they say, what we can do. Yeah. Who is going to make us to respect this? Yeah. There are not many laws. Our Peruvian law says, if you are author, like if you write a book, yes, you have your right. But this textile tradition, we didn't invent it. We didn't invent in this era. It's coming from many, many thousands of years ago. So we are not, for our law, we are not the originals. We wish that there was more awareness for everybody, what means cultural appropriation and how we should do it in the respectable way. Yeah. I know many of the commercial purpose can go into this very deeply because they like to support, they like to change, they like to present in many different ways and use different materials. A lot of times we knock our face with that door because we have problems in marketing, but at the same time, we like to keep our traditional textile tradition with a respect for the future generations. So today we make textiles for our own use in our own communities with our patterns, colors, and like that. And also we use these textiles to be used in this modern world in many ways, like home decors or as a part of the clothing. Yeah. So that's where we are at this stage.
Yes, thank you for that. And one of the words I pulled out of there is awareness. Be aware. When somebody steps into a new space, it's almost impossible to be aware of everything. But as long as you're moving with a sense of awareness, and awareness is respect. Are you aware of how your behavior affects others, positive and negative, right? Awareness is respect. Robin, take me from, that first time where you embraced the difficulty of some of the more simple weaving techniques as it connects to this particular culture, and where you are now and what that journey was just for you in terms of increasing awareness and increasing respect, running sort of parallel, and then also how that's really kind of served you no matter what community, village, country, tradition you step into.
Okay. My first, like I shared before, my first experience was attending this incredible conference. And I was exposed to so much talent, so much history and culture and craft. I really was so inspired and moved. I knew after that year, I had it somewhere in my heart that I needed to go back to the Sacred Valley. The Apus and the textiles were calling me. The Apus are what they call the mountain spirits.
Yes.
And there was something really powerful there. And I had a beautiful alignment of experiences that did bring me back 1 year later. And when I was planning to come back, I decided I wanted to give a donation to the textile center because I had been so moved by the things that I saw and I wanted to support. I wanted to support them however I could because I realized the value of what they were doing culturally, materially, and how so many people were proud of their culture and were the confidence of the craftsmen. So that really was actually how I met Nilda in person because at the conference, I was just a person in the sea of many.
Yeah.
And so it was then, and I asked Nilda, okay, well, I want to, maybe I would love to, how can I support? And I had a creative idea of maybe, is there a way that I could use some of these beautiful small woven strips on some contemporary clothing items that then could be sold, and the proceeds then supporting the communities. We kind of brainstormed a little bit about that. And I think I made moves towards that, but then COVID happened and it kind of took the winds out of the sail for that project. But it opened a different project because the New York Textile Month that happens every September, the month of September in New York City, where we do events all over the city and art exhibitions and textile workshops. But during COVID, everything was online. So I had the idea and I reached out to Nilda and said, could I organize an event on Zoom with you talking about all the magical things that you're doing, all these incredible things in the textiles? And so we had the Zoom event and thousands of people logged in to hear Nilda talk. So it was really exciting that there was some momentum behind, and the way that even when things were, not as I originally thought, there was still a way that I could bring some support and respect and recognition, and who knows what other connections can have been able to open from that. And since that time, Nilda has come to New York City for many different events. You were at one of the film screenings.
We're like
She's come she was recently brought by the Met for the new Rockefeller wing that she was consulting them on the textiles from Peru in that. So every time she's come to New York, I've also tried to organize events. So we've done pop-up markets in various locations and try to, bring some of these items to people, the New Yorkers that I know that appreciate good quality craftsmanship and fashion and that you can't get anywhere else, and things that have an aura to them and a story, and they aren't cheaply made in some factory in Asia, and that they have something else. And so I found my role to be a bridge. And this is another example of continuing that role.
Yeah. And
well,
go ahead, Nilda.
This is building up, connection, interweave between them. So there is going to be, like, you are taking your time. You are already putting a little seed to this project. So Ruben did that too. And we are just watering and growing up more.
Exactly.
I love that. And I'm all about bridges, not really walls. It's okay to have boundaries, but, Robin knows I've gone to bat. I've gone really hard about how important it is to build bridges at a time where a lot of people seem to be building walls. I'm just so happy that we were able to make this happen. And, this Our campaign that's pretty much live right now. So we're going to try to get this episode out pretty quickly. I encourage everybody to get one of these. Also, on Good Standing, you can get one for somebody else. So if you're like, ooh, my mom would love this, or my girlfriend, or my boyfriend, or whatever, you can get one for somebody else too. It's an incredible gift. So that's going to be happening pretty much right now and a little bit this summer, but it would be amazing to catch up again maybe in September for this textile conference that happens. Maybe we can sort of revisit, and maybe Nilda, I could see you in person again if you come up again. Maybe if you do, maybe you don't. And I just wanted to say too, what an honor to be tapped to consult for the Met too on their textiles too. That's incredible. You're going to say something?
Thank you very much. I will be very briefly in September. I think so. I am giving a lecture at the applied at New York City on September 14th. So
September 14th.
I will meet you.
Amazing. I'm there. I'll be there. And, you know, Robin, I so appreciate you. Every year that goes by, I get a little bit more evidence to just how powerful you are. Nilda, you are an incredible person. What an amazing steward. I'm just very honored to be able to hang with you both and sort of be a part of getting some of these beautiful textiles out into the world and to increase awareness too, right? Because part of getting one of these, receiving one of these, owning these is educating yourself a little bit about that history. You know, each textile is a portal, is a doorway into a really beautiful story. So anyway, I'm so grateful for you two. What are you guys doing? Are you guys eating dinner? Did you do that already? Or is everybody going to sleep? Are you guys having a party? What's going on there? And then I'll let you go.
Yeah, we're going to head to dinner in the little village that we're at right now. There's a group that have come from the United States that are here on a pilgrimage. We spent the whole day with Nilda doing different textile crafts. We learned how to spin some yarn, and we learned how to make these a braiding technique, a sling braiding technique. And then we did an offering to Mother Earth with a special spiritual guide here, where we did a lot of beautiful things that are traditional to the culture and kind of opened our path. So we're at the beginning of our journey here, but it is time for us to have dinner.
All right, you can go. You can go. Thank you very much, you two. Nilda, thank you so much. Congratulations, and we'll talk soon, okay? Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. And thank you, Nilda. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.